comparison continues.
I tell you what. I wanted to use technology to enhance the show. I do exactly what it asked me to do to fix the Facebook thing. And it just said, nope. So, probably no Facebook tonight. I do encourage you, though, that if you do watch the show, to head on over to Twitter, YouTube, or Twitch and enjoy the show that way. The streams are live there. I have checked. They're doing great. So I encourage you to head on over there at Off the Edge on all platforms and enjoy the show live with us there. You can hop into the comment section and let me know what you think about the takes. If you agree with them, disagree with them, ask any questions, just communicate with the show and be a part of it. That's what the comment section is there for. So, earlier today, it was released that Tua Tagovailoa became one of the next in a long line of folks to compare Mac Jones to Tom Brady. And this is what he said. He said, I would say he's a sly kind of athletic person. He's a more mobile Tom Brady. He's very athletic, I would say. He's very smart, too. That's what Tua Tagovailoa had to say about his former backup quarterback that came in and commanded the ship after Tua suffered that devastating hip injury. And, you know, this has been something that I have discussed myself, that he has all the tools, Mac Jones. I've said from the very beginning, and this is the timeline, okay? For those that don't know, Tony Tsoukalis just so happened to walk by Ryan Fowler at a remote and just so happened to say that he thought that Mac Jones was going to be a one-and-done player and head off to the NFL. And nobody paid it any mind. Nobody, kind of laughed. Everybody kind of laughed it off. Nobody thought that was a legitimate thing to be in bed with. Lo and behold, here we are a year later, and Mac Jones is looking to be a first-round quarterback. Well, about that time is when I started thinking, he might be right. This guy does have tools. He's got enough arm strength. He's accurate. And if he can show that he can manage a pocket well and make great decisions throughout an entire season, I see no reason why this guy couldn't be a first-round pick. And that's exactly what he did. You're talking about a guy that has impeccable pocket awareness. Everyone wants to say, oh, he's not mobile. He can't run. He kind of can't. You're right. I'll concede that one to you. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. He's not even Sam Darnold. He can't do those things. I'm so sorry. That is so devastating to you, Mr. I need the perfect prospect. Every prospect has flaws, by the way. Every single one of them. Yeah, even Trevor Lawrence, even that guy, even Sunshine, he's got flaws. A lot of people like to look over the fact that he threw 7 interceptions to start a season. A lot of people like to look over that. You imagine any other quarterback in this class having done that. Automatically not a first-round quarterback. Automatically. Trevor Lawrence gets away with that. And he's an incredible prospect. I understand that. I've turned on the tape. He's great. He has accuracy issues, though. Nonetheless, the thing is that he's elite at managing a pocket. He is elite at taking 1 or 2 steps to the side and buying himself enough time to find a guy downfield and hit him accurately. And that's another thing. Accuracy is something that you cannot teach in the NFL. You can help improve it, but you cannot teach it. Either you kind of already have it, you have an idea how to do it, or you're going to have a hard time. I point to the fact that Josh Allen became more accurate this season. I don't know how. I certainly don't understand how. Even if someone explained it to me, I probably still would not. But regardless, at the end of the day, Mac Jones already has that accuracy. Oh, he doesn't have arm strength. Guys, a lot of dudes come into the NFL with incredible arm strength and don't do a damn thing with it. A lot of them. I mean, a lot of them. Jamarcus Russell, Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart. It's really an extenuating list. Josh Allen hasn't won anything yet. Hell, he had the strong arm, and people still found fault with him. There's always something to find fault within these guys. And the greatest quarterback of all time has exactly all of those same traits. Now, at the time, 21 years ago, Tom Brady was projected to be at best a 5th-round pick. He ended up going in the 6th, 199th overall. We all know the story. And he eventually, just a few weeks ago, won his 7th Super Bowl championship and was named the MVP of the game. Despite being 43 years old and having all of those same qualities.
Good point.
Nothing necessarily elite about him physically. He's got the accuracy, but he's never been some crazy downfield thrower. He's got the arm strength to put the ball downfield, and he has just enough velocity to be successful. He can't scramble worth a damn, but he can manage a pocket. He can give himself 1 or 2 steps to find the open man. And that's what Mac Jones does so perfectly. And that's why guys like Mel Kiper and now Tua Tagovailoa are saying, well, I see a lot of Tom Brady in his game. Now, why is that a good thing? Well, you're being compared to the best to ever do it. Plain and simple. Well, why is that a bad thing? Well, you're being compared to the best to ever do it, plain and simple. If you're compared to Tom Brady, then obviously you must be able to do the things that Tom Brady does. And all Tom Brady does is win. It's all he's ever done. The very first episode, we discovered that half of the Super Bowls that Michael, our glorious Monday night intern, half of the Super Bowls he has witnessed as a human being on this planet have featured Tom Brady in them. At 20 years old, there is a strong chance that next year, over half the Super Bowls he's seen in his life as a grown-ass man will have featured the same player. That is dumb. That's ridiculous.
I mean, I don't think it's dumb.
I mean,
it's going to be
of course not. No, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. It's just nobody does that.
Well, it's here's and this is why I say Tom Brady is so good. And this is why when I think of the greatest of all time, there's a difference in that argument between the greatest, to ever do this sport and the greatest of all time. I still think Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. However, Tom Brady is the greatest to ever play professional football, period. And there's no argument. I mean, for him to do in a team game, every other individual game is just that. It's individual. Baseball, you can have one good player. Basketball, one good player. Football is the ultimate team game. And Tom Brady is the ultimate team player. He showed it. He did it. For a franchise that hadn't been to the playoffs in 12 years. And he took him to the Super Bowl in the first year.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's nuts. Like, in the most respectful way, like calling a great pass rusher a freak, it's ridiculous what he has done. And the problem is that so many people think, well, when you compare a rookie with a Hall of Fame caliber player, he's instantly got to do all those sorts of things. Well, no, he doesn't. But here's the thing, guys. Since 2009, one quarterback that has been drafted in the first round since 2009 has won a Super Bowl. One. Technically, one. You can say 2 others were on rosters, but only one of them started the game and won the game. That was Patrick Mahomes. Since 2009 up till 2016, none of the 22 quarterbacks selected in the first round of the NFL draft are with the team that drafted them.
I'm actually gonna argue your point. There's only 21. I'm Winston completely out of this.
He's the first overall
He
pick.
doesn't exist.
The Raiders don't get to take away Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
They've already tried.
Doesn't work that way.
And actually, he was the second overall pick, wasn't he?
No, he was the first.
Was he first? I thought Mariota was the first one, and then they picked James.
No, you got that one backwards,
See,
bud.
it's all blur. You know, I had to deal with that crap for 5 years.
Yeah.
Done. Good luck, New Orleans.
He's just another statistic, though. So all that says to me is that the NFL draft is nothing but a crapshoot. That all these experts out here, and I've played it before, I love the NFL draft. I love to tell you why you're wrong about the prospects you like. I love it. It's fun. It's great. But just as the quote-unquote experts, as a lot of actual NFL people like to dub them, just as they have no idea what the hell they're doing, neither does the NFL. Clearly. 22 quarterbacks. Y'all have no idea what you're doing. Zero. Does that make me right about Mac Jones? No, it doesn't. But it gives me a margin of error for me to say I think he's the fourth best quarterback in the draft. That I think he's better than Trey Lance.
Well, we don't know who the best quarterback in the draft is, though. I mean, if you're looking at it from that
That's what I'm saying.
Well, if you're looking at it like that, then, you know, any guy that's drafted in the 5th round could be the best quarterback in this
They
draft.
totally can be. And that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's
I'm
all
agreeing with you in a loud tone.
right. It's all about the circumstances for all of these guys. Even the best guy can go to an awful situation and it never pan out, and he's done. Look at what's happened to Sam Darnold. He was one of these golden boys that was dubbed a first-round pick before the season started. Ended up not being the first overall pick, but it still went to the team everybody thought he would, and that was the New York Jets. And they haven't built anything around him, so he's looked even worse than he already was. But the thing is that the NFL has no idea what they're doing. I mean, yeah, sure, they're smarter than I am. I'm not going to sit here and boast like, oh, I'm so smart. I've said it multiple times on multiple occasions that if I am wrong about Mac Jones, I will own up to it. But there's no reason for the arrogance on the other side of the argument either. That, oh, well, he doesn't have the tools to get it done. Well, all these guys that have had the tools for the past 11 years haven't gotten it done either, except the one guy, and that one guy was drafted after Mitchell Trubisky. You're kidding me, right? Everybody saw what was happening with Mitchell Trubisky. Everybody. And yeah, Joe and all of his Bear buddies, they sure wanted it to work out, but they knew the writing was on the wall too because their entire fan base booed it. Because it was terrible. It was an awful idea. And nobody saw Patrick Mahomes coming either because they just thought he was a Big 12 quarterback. Yeah, he threw for 700 yards in one game. It didn't matter. I called out the Bears, and here's the man. The Iron Man has called into the show. I might get fired live on Facebook, Twitter.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this is not gonna go well.
It might not.
For him.
For him?
For him. I'm gonna back you on this one.
You might get fired too.
Look, I don't work for him no more. He can't fire me.
Ludman on his own time and his own dime. Technically not an employee of Tide 100.9. Technically.
Well, okay. There's a lot of technicalities.
There's a bunch of technicalities, but technically,
This is great.
we got free labor on the radio on a day where half the universe blew up about
You see
internships.
the Hall of Fame the one year with DX that went in?
Oh yeah.
And Billy Jones, you can't fire me.
Nobody can take that puny company and push it into the dirt. Let's go ahead. You want to take a break, producer? All right, let's go ahead and get the Iron Man on the phone. Joe, what's up, buddy?
All right, my man. What's happening? How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's slightly concerning that my boss just called into my show.
You're a half hour into your show, and I was taking a break after Title Talk, kind of calming down with the kids, and I just tuned in because I was just running a little errand, and I heard Mac Jones, and only the last snippet of the last couple minutes. Like, these NFL draft experts. What do you say? 22 first-round draft picks haven't made the Super Bowl or something like that, other than Patrick Mahomes. Is that what? Was I correct on that?
Since 2009, no first-round quarterback drafted in that time period has made it to the Super Bowl. Has won a Super Bowl. Excuse me. Has made it to it. Hell, if I could talk. No quarterback drafted in the first round since 2009 has won a Super Bowl except for Patrick Mahomes. Started and won the game.
Patty Mahomes, he's the man. We agree on that.
That is just Patrick Mahomes. And from 2009 to 2016, there were 22 first-round quarterbacks drafted, and none of them are still with their team.
The real reason I called in, Jacob, is because I want to know, you know where I stand with Mac Jones, and you know where I stand with the Bears. The Bears obviously need a quarterback. So, it's plain anybody who watches football can see that. We're getting rid of Mitchell Trubisky. He's getting released. Nick Foles is probably going to get released. He's only costing a cool $9 million this year. So he's probably going to get released. We'll have to figure out a quarterback. Somebody's got to play quarterback. You got the 20th overall draft pick, and you got a decent amount of cap space. I want us to go all in on a Deshaun Watson trade or a sign-in trade with Dak Prescott, or even with the Russell Wilson news of the last couple of days. Those are three amazing options. Very costly, very, very costly. But you get a good quarterback. So I'll be down with that. But one of the options that affects us here in Tuscaloosa is obviously drafting Mac Jones at 20. People are starting to say he's not going to last at 20. He's going to go to 12. He's going to go 8 to the Panthers. So you're going to have to jump up to get him even higher. My biggest thing with Mac Jones is I like the guy. He's smart. He played an amazing season here at Alabama. He extremely, he was popular. He handled his business. But I contend that if you throw A.J. McCarron into this offense this past year, the results would be nearly identical. And A.J. McCarron is a career clipboard holder in the NFL. Not that he didn't have talent while he was here, he did. But I just wonder, is Mac Jones a career clipboard holder who just put up amazing stats? And, we've talked about this, a little slower release. We've talked about this. I think he had amazing protection here at Alabama, and I don't see that happening in the NFL. We've talked about the zip, being able to throw that 18-yard out, and specifically in Chicago in the windy winter. What are you going to do? Does Mac Jones have the arm talent to play it in, say, Chicago? Or what would you do? Are you Ryan Pace, Jacob Harrison? What do you do?
If I'm Ryan Pace, I'm going to get a veteran quarterback like Deshaun Watson. I'm not selling out for Mac Jones. And the reason is simple, is because you're already a playoff team. Somehow the Bears made the playoffs last year, and I mean, if you're already there and the one piece is quarterback, then that's the one that you've got to fix. Go get a guy that can get it done, and that's Deshaun Watson. I'd sell the farm for Deshaun Watson if I'm Chicago. 100%. Sell the farm.
Magnificent Miles, Navy Pier, every bit of it. You want Khalil Mack, you want the first-round draft pick, you can have it. But my thing is with Mac Jones, if he falls to 20 and the Bears take him, I see problems. I see him having issues making the throws to the outside, down the field in Chicago. I see him having issues with that bad to mid-tier offensive line. The offensive line will be healthy going into next year, and when it's healthy, it's mid-tier. But it was beat up like all get out last year, so it ended up being terrible. The running game is meh at best. Montgomery is a good running back, but he's not Najee Harris running behind this past year's offensive line. You're probably going to franchise Allen Robinson. I like Darnell Mooney and Anthony Miller, and I like Quebec, but I don't think those guys compare to the kind of talent level that he had here in Alabama. So I see problems if we draft Mac Jones.
Well, here's the thing: is every rookie quarterback needs talent around him. It's not just Mac Jones just because he had talent around him at Alabama. As soon as Trevor Lawrence is announced as the first overall pick, what's the first thing that's going to be out of Mel's mouth or out of Daniel Jeremiah's mouth? They're going to say, great, you've got your quarterback. Everybody knew that's what you were going to do. Now in the second round, unless you trade into the first, go get some weapons for the kid.
They have 2 first-round picks.
They do?
The Jets.
Yeah, so that's what they're going to do. Is they're going to say, okay, now with whatever pick you have later in the first round, go get this guy some weapons, or go get him some offensive line because Jacksonville's already got the defense. That's always the conversation, unless the other team doesn't have defense, and that one sentence is excluded. Every rookie quarterback needs pieces around them. You want to know why no quarterback other than Patrick Mahomes drafted in the first round since 2009 has won a Super Bowl? That has a lot to do with it. It's because teams fail to put pieces around him. You know why? 22 quarterbacks from 2009 to 2016 are that were drafted in the first round are no longer with their franchises is because the teams failed to put pieces around them. The same reason that the Jets are constantly mocked to go get Zach Wilson when they've still got Sam Darnold. It's because they didn't put pieces around him. If you don't put pieces around him, he's going to fail regardless. The thing is that what Mac Jones has that everybody knows that he has are things that are very difficult, if not impossible, to teach. And that is a strong mindset, somebody that can learn the playbook damn near immediately. He also has the pocket presence, and he has the accuracy. Those are all things that are incredibly difficult to teach at the NFL. Is it concerning that he doesn't have a rocket arm and that his arm is maybe average to above average? I've seen arguments for both. That's one of those things you kind of just have to wait and see. Can the ball get there in time? Or can he compensate with his accuracy? Because there's been plenty of guys that have compensated with their accuracy. Look at Drew Brees. Look at Tom Brady.
Drew Brees wasn't accurate. It wasn't terrible until this past year, though. I mean, when you
that was age and injuries.
Every season, you're accurate. But here's the question I have with this, and this is for both of you. I saw on Twitter today somewhere, and I'm trying to find it now, but of course I can't when I need it. But that Deshaun Watson would be traded to Miami, and there's like Tua's on there, another guy's on there, and like 3 picks.
That's too much.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What are you willing, Joe, as a Bears fan? I mean, I know you joked around, said Khalil Mack, all these other stuff, but are you willingly going to sit here and say, I'm going to give away 2 really good players and 3 picks for Deshaun Watson?
Yes.
Why?
Why? Because
to give up the farm for Deshaun. I know Deshaun's great, but you're giving up the whole thing for him?
Absolutely. You must not be familiar with the Bears franchise in the quarterback position. You pretty much have to buy one. If you're the Bears, Jay Cutler, one of my all-time favorites. And,
good point.
He was bought by 2 first-round draft picks. Maybe 3. I think it was 2 when we got him from the Broncos.
You got a real problem when Jay Cutler is the greatest quarterback in your franchise's history, despite being one of the best franchises in the NFL history.
You're playing right into my point. If you can get a Deshaun Watson, or if it costs Khalil Mack, I'm sorry. I've got your jersey, and it's been a fun ride. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it costs. You make the trade. You get Deshaun Watson, who's 25, and you get him for the next 10 years, and you try to build after that. Whatever the cost, you do it.
I don't know if I agree with trading Khalil Mack, and the conversation is less about the Bears and more about Mac Jones. But the point stands is that even to make it about Tua, you still go get Deshaun Watson because he's an instant upgrade. As much as I love those guys, you go get the better quarterback, the guy that's proven.
That's the difference for me. Is if I got a guy, that's what I bring it back to. If I have a chance to draft and build a guy like Mac Jones, I'm going to do that over getting rid of the farm and getting rid of Khalil Mack when I have a guy who's already good and that I can brand into being even better.
That's my question, Jacob. If you're sitting there at 20 and you're like, wow, here's Mac Jones, and you drafted, talk me off the ledge that says, y'all going to be just fine. Obviously, you got to give a rookie some time, so you do. And I do like some of the weapons that we have around him. But my concerns are stronger than most about his arm talent and his ability to play at the next level. What would you say to me?
Listen, when I say bet the farm or trade the farm, whatever, I mean in picks. I mean, I don't care about first-round picks if I've got Deshaun Watson and Khalil Mack. I'm not crazy about getting rid of arguably the best pass rusher in the NFL because that does completely impact the defense, which carried the team into the playoffs. If you draft Mac Jones, the offensive line might not be good enough, and the wide receivers are also probably not going to be good enough to sustain the team and make it look like he's been a successful pick. It'd be a very similar situation to what Tua had to deal with the Miami Dolphins last year. Great defense. The team is going to win. Mac Jones probably isn't going to look good while doing it. And you're also not going to be able to buy in on that time period of being a Super Bowl champion team. Because at the end of the day, he will still be a rookie. And you will still have to build the offense around him. The thing with Deshaun Watson is that he's a household name. Weapons and offensive linemen will want to come play with him and for him. And he will also be the kind of guy that can offset the problems that the Bears have offensively. And he's already a proven superstar. That trumps a rookie to have to build around every day of the week for me. But the thing is regardless, it's the same thing with Tua in Miami. If you take the guy, build around the guy. Give him a chance to be successful. Because when you, look at what the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes. Everybody wants to crown Patrick Mahomes and say, well, he's the best we've got in the NFL right now, without regard to the fact that he has the best tight end in football, the fastest wide receiver in football, a great running back core, and one of the best offensive lines in football. And even this year, their offensive line was still good, even though one of their guards was a doctor and opted out of the entire season. And they were competitive in the Super Bowl, even though they lost both of their starting tackles. Patrick Mahomes is great, and I don't mean to diminish from him, but everybody needs weapons. Very, very few and far between have we seen where Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, who are really kind of the only examples to this, have made the guys around them so much better that it didn't matter what the talent around them was. But even still, Peyton Manning still had Marvin Harris, Dallas Clark, and Reggie Wayne. Tom Brady still, at most points in his career, had at least one guy he could rely on, even if he wasn't always an elite guy. You still have to have the pieces around him. And I don't know, you have to trust the Bears in order to be able to build around Mac Jones at that point.
Well, that's going to be the issue, Jacob. If Mac Jones throws in a rookie, Ryan Payton can get fired. This is his second swing at a quarterback, and he's got to get it right if he wants to hang around much longer. That all that stuff is brews for a storm that I don't like. I'd rather just go out and get Deshaun Watson and roll the dice with that.
I would too. Roll Tide, Joe. That was fun. That went much better than I expected. And I hope I did talk him off the ledge at least a little bit. I mean, regardless, though, every rookie quarterback needs the same exact thing. Everybody wants to act like these guys are exceptions just because they had pieces around them in college. Which, by the freaking way, Trevor Lawrence plays for the second best team in all college football, by the way. Justin Fields plays for the third best team, and I mean historically over the past 10 years. And nobody questions the fact that they have so much talent around them. Every time I see Najee Harris hurdle somebody, I see a comment under it that says, oh, his offensive line was really good. Every time I see a highlight of Mac Jones, oh, his offensive line was really good. He threw to a Heisman Trophy winner. He had great weapons. Every time I see Smitty, oh, but he's small. And he had Mac Jones throwing the ball to him, who had a great offensive line, and Najee Harris to balance things out with the run game. It's every time, and it's only Alabama. It's only Alabama. And it's really ridiculous. I understand Bama fatigue, but to a point, this is getting really, really old. I think Mac Jones has what it takes to be a great NFL quarterback. I stand by that. I'll never relent on that until I've been proven wrong. But it's not even a hot take. And so many people act like it should be. It's not even close to a hot take.
Our intern actually made a great point here. He said we haven't had a successful NFL quarterback since Joe Namath.
That doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
It's scary, though.
It's scary.
Because you got all this talent around you in Alabama, and then you go to the NFL, and
That doesn't matter.
Most places you don't have that much.
Well, first of all, I would say A.J. McCarron's a successful NFL quarterback.
Well, in terms of winning, not really.
Well, I mean in terms of sustainability and reliability.
I'll give you that.
He's respected enough to have held down a job for 8 years.
I mean, if you want to say A.J. McCarron, that's fine, but you're not saying Mac Jones is going to be a career backup.
No, I'm not. No.
That's what A.J. McCarron.
And I'm not. And here's the other part of that: the number of guys that have been drafted, not that high either. So we're acting like guys go into the NFL and they fail immediately. Like, guys, between Greg McElroy and Mac Jones, there's been 2 quarterbacks drafted.
I mean, are you saying Jake Coker should have been an NFL quarterback?
No, not at all. I've been extremely critical over Jake Coker as the Alabama quarterback. What I'm saying is that at the very least, we have no idea what Tua Tagovailoa is in the NFL. I contend that he will be very good because that's what I do for a living is make a guesstimate and an educated idea of what he will be. And everybody from the second and 26 left his left fingers said kind of the same thing. That guy can do it in the NFL, I bet. The thing is with Mac Jones, we're all writing him off because of things that are elementary to write him off about. Because I said the same thing when Tua was going into the NFL. You're talking about a guy, Craig McElroy started. Hooey vey. You're talking about a guy that, yes, has all this talent around him. And he can hit a 5-yard slant that goes for 80 yards because Henry Ruggs caught it and he's faster than everybody. Well, what's the difference in Patrick Mahomes hitting a 5-yard slant to Tyreek Hill, who takes it 80 yards down the field because he's faster than everybody? Literally nothing. It matters what you put around a quarterback, yes. But it doesn't matter that just because a guy had talent around him that he suddenly cannot succeed anymore. I'm on the side of Mac Jones. I'm not saying that he's the best. I'm not saying that he's going to be the best. I am saying he deserves a chance. And that everybody that thinks that it's so ludicrous that he be drafted ahead of Trey Lance or any of these other quarterbacks in the draft, I think they're out of their gourd. And that they're too entitled into their own opinion in allowing things to happen. Because, as I said at the start of this entire conversation, the NFL draft ain't nothing but a crapshoot. The greatest of all time was selected with the 199th pick. We really need to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this intern crap, because that fired me up too. And I'm already upset and mad and not streaming on Facebook. But you can go check us out on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. And I encourage you to hit the follow and like buttons, share it around, and join us in the chat. Give us a call at 205-342-9904. This is Off the Edge. My name is Jacob Harrison, and we'll be right back.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español?
Hablo.
It's hablo? It's hablo.
Bon dia, like good day, good morning, I think.
I can say, je m'appelle David, but that's probably it.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
This year is my year to get fluent in Spanish, and Babbel is definitely going to help me do that. The app is so easy to use, and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
I've tried other language learning apps and nothing really stuck. Babbel's been a complete game changer for me.
Hoy es miércoles y el clima está muy bueno afuera.
Estoy conforme. Eu não tomei café de manhã.
Je suis des États-Unis et du viens tu.
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you have unlimited data on a network you can't trust, your data is limited, and so are you. Set your smartphone free with the unlimited plans from Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G. With 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at authorized dealers. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Townsquare has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Townsquare. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Townsquare and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Risky behavior with alcohol can lead to future health problems without warning. High blood pressure, stroke, and cancer. Substance misuse is dangerous. Knowing the risk is vital.
This is Norman Crow. It's critical that District 3 has strong leadership on the Tuscaloosa City Council to support public safety, to invest in our schools, to build our local economy. After serving on the Tuscaloosa City School Board for 4 years, I'm excited for the chance to do even more for our city. On March the 2nd, I need your vote for City Council. Vote Norman Crow, District 3.
Paid for by Friends of Norman Crow, 1655 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 134, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35406.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you have unlimited data on a network you can't trust, your data is limited, and so are you. Set your smartphone free with the unlimited plans from Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G. With 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at Total Wireless stores. See TotalWireless.com for terms and conditions.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Townsquare has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Townsquare. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Townsquare and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
This is Norman Crow. It's critical that District 3 has strong leadership on the Tuscaloosa City Council to support public safety, to invest in our schools, to build our local economy. After serving on the Tuscaloosa City School Board for 4 years, I'm excited for the chance to do even more for our city. On March the 2nd, I need your vote for City Council. Vote Norman Crow, District 3.
Paid for by Friends of Norman Crow, 1655 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 134, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35406.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Cloudy and colder, rain becoming widespread late tonight, the low at 40. Tomorrow, cold and wet, rain much of the day, the high at 50. Wednesday becoming partly to mostly sunny, the high 60. And Thursday, a sunny day with a high at 68. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 50 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Nothing like getting fired up on a Monday night about quarterbacks. Nothing like it. Listen, if you're out there, I encourage you to go check out Off the Edge at Off the Edge 109 on all platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We're streaming live on Twitch for the first time tonight. I encourage you to go check out those places and enjoy the streams there. Jump in the chats and interact with the show there. You can also call in 2053-429904 and jump in on the conversation. When we come back, we are going to discuss the internship conversation that went on over Twitter. And listen, I've got no bone one way or the other. I'm just saying, a lot of people in this world, a lot of them go through different stuff. And we need to understand that. So we're going to dive into that conversation with 3 people who are all unpaid interns. So yeah, we have a bit of a bias towards that, but we also understand life. So we're gonna discuss that. We're also in the second hour going to discuss Paul Tyson and what it would mean, or what it would take at least, for him to be the starting quarterback of the 2021 Alabama Crimson Tide, or at any point in the future. Now that Ty Simpson has announced his commitment, we got Arch Manning down the pipe. Tanner Bailey's down the pipe. Right out there in Gordo. I mean, there's plenty to get into on that. Well, I also want to squeeze in some discussion about Landon Dickerson. I hope that he's a Pittsburgh Steeler in the future, but he's getting a lot of hype as a first-round prospect now. So, without a doubt, the Steelers might miss out on him. But nonetheless, a team will be very happy to have him. We'll get into all of that and more in the second hour of Off the Edge. My name is Jacob Harrison, and we'll be right back right after this.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you have unlimited data on a network you can't trust, your data is limited, and so are you. Set your smartphone free with the unlimited plans from Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G. With 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. do amazing. Available at authorized dealers. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Townsquare has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Townsquare. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Townsquare and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
This is Norman Crow. It's critical that District 3 has strong leadership on the Tuscaloosa City Council to support public safety, to invest in our schools, to build our local economy. After serving on the Tuscaloosa City School Board for 4 years, I'm excited for the chance to do even more for our city. On March the 2nd, I need your vote for City Council. Vote Norman Crow, District 3.
Paid for by Friends of Norman Crow, 1655 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 134, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35406.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? It's hablo.
Bon dia, like good day, good morning, I think.
I can say je m'appelle David, but that's probably it.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
This year is my year to get fluent in Spanish, and Babbel is definitely going to help me do that. The app is so easy to use, and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
I've tried other language learning apps and nothing really stuck. Babbel's been a complete game changer for me.
Hoy es miércoles y el clima está muy bueno afuera.
Estoy con fome. Eu no tomé café de mañana.
Je suis des États-Unis et du Lyon too.
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com, Babbel.com.
What's it doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks Online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is the registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
The pressure is on. Lights out. This is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Quarterback back at the 5, steps up, gets drilled. Yes, sir, he gets mashed. And that is going to be the ball game. Alabama wins the ball game.
Streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and the Tide 100.9 app. Go. Here is your host of Off the Edge, Jacob Harrison.
Hello there, welcome back into the second hour of Off the Edge. My name is Jacob Harrison. Listen, if you ever missed a show, you can check us out on the podcast center of Tide109.com. I also want to encourage you to head on over to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch and follow the show, like the streams. If you encounter any weird problems, please let me know. Another week, another weird situation with these streams. My accounts thought that I got hacked, and I didn't, so everything wants to act dumb. But nonetheless, we'll get it all situated. We'll continue to improve. I want to remind you guys of my friends over there at Alabama Vintage 2010 University Boulevard, right across from City Hall. These guys have everything you need, I promise you. You want to fill that man cave, lady cave, that Alabama Crimson Tide Memorial Room in your place. These guys got everything you need. They've got memorabilia that you can spread across your walls, paintings, cutouts, trinkets of all kinds, clocks, you name it, man. It's in there and you can enjoy it. Vintage jerseys, sweaters, tees, sneakers, hats, all of it is right there. Charlie has brought all that to Tuscaloosa for you to consume. And if you're not in Tuscaloosa, you can check them out, alabamavtg.com, and check out their online store. I encourage you, go find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's Alabama Vintage right in the heart of Tuscaloosa downtown. Go check them out and let them know that Off the Edge is where you heard about them. So I said that we were going to dive into this whole interns conversation that got real fired up on Twitter. We've got an intern in here today, Michael. We have James Ludman, who was an intern at Tide 100.9 for a short period of time. I was an intern at Tide 100.9 for a collective about, I give 5, 6, 7 months. And this all got started up because of a lady on Twitter who's in the NFL media said, that she went through an unpaid internship. She worked real hard to get where she was at. A lot of people, I saw like Adam Rank under there, Matt Miller, all saying, yeah, I took unpaid internships and they turned into what I was doing. Matt Miller himself said that he was unpaid when he started at Bleacher Report, and now he's one of the biggest names in NFL draft analysis words. And nonetheless, people still wanted to jump in and say, go get paid. Whatever, go get paid. Don't take free internships. And while I agree, unpaid internships are crap. They're not fair. Not even a little bit. They're awful. They're the worst. Because you bust your ass so somebody can notice you, and that person you're trying to get to notice you doesn't pay. And the funny thing is that the majority of people that got super fired up about this were sports writers. Where I guarantee at least 3/4 of sports journalists have been unpaid interns at some point in their life. Because it's so damn hard to find a paid internship in this business. A little peek behind the curtain, it's almost impossible. But here's the thing, is that everybody has different circumstances. And I saw a lot of crap about, well, if you take an unpaid internship, it just means, somebody can take care of your bills for you. Well, let me first give you an example why that's complete and utter bullcrap. It's because as a father of 3, I was an unpaid intern. Let me say that clearly. As a married man and a father of 3 and a college student, I took an unpaid internship. Is that dumb? Is that optimistic? You be the judge, but take note of where I'm sitting right now. And my wife didn't have some crazy glorious job. My parents are not rich. My parents, in fact, have just enough to get them by, let alone when I was eating all their food as a football player. My in-laws don't have any more money than my parents do. So here's the thing, is that we need to understand that everybody has different situations. James is also a father. James is also a husband. And he took an unpaid internship here because he cares about radio. And that at the end of the day is what matters. Because if I did what it took to pay the bills, I would not, A, have increased the amount of debt that I have to the University of Alabama and the National Board of Education to take out the loans to come do what I love to do. And that's yell about sports. Because apparently tonight I am not talking. If I didn't do that, I'd be a painter out in the middle of frickin' nowhere, Alabama. Not that that's a bad job, mind you. Because I got paid a lot more to do that than I do to do this. Worked a lot more hours, and the pay rate was better. Nonetheless, I want to be happy with my life. And the people that I worked for that were painters were happy with their lives. So any painter that's out there listening, I'm not discrediting your profession. In fact, I admire you because it's a hard job And not enough people take notice of what you do. And a lot of times, they only point out the flaws. Trust me, I know. But being an unpaid intern does not mean that you work harder for anything. Because I have seen unpaid interns walk into this building and walk out and never do a damn thing for Tide 100.9 and get a good job.
Good point.
I've seen it with my own eyes. All of us have. And it's not to single out any one person or to degrade them, because I'm happy for every single intern that comes through these doors and at least gives their time to this place, because I care about this place. That's why I'm here. I've got fired twice and I'm still here because I care and I love this place. I love sports radio, and I yearn for the idea that we can create content that Alabama fans of every type and breed can enjoy. That's what this show is all about. It's not just about reaching a younger audience and doing all these cool, fun things with the internet that don't even work 90% of the time, and to play video games and to get heated and just to have art. No, it's to provide a forum for all to enjoy. So it doesn't mean that you worked harder because you were an unpaid intern, but it also doesn't mean that you were given the silver spoon because you were able to take one. Because everything in life requires some sort of sacrifice. No matter what way you want to paint it, that's the reality of life that I've come to learn as a grown man. Is that sometimes things don't go the way you want them to, and sometimes you have to make a sacrifice. Because if I had it the way I wanted it, I would be in Pittsburgh doing sports radio for them, for the Steelers, right? We'd all be doing something different if we had it our way, or if we had it the easy way. But here's the thing, is almost nobody has it the easy way. Just because they had some sort of backing doesn't mean that they didn't find trials and tribulations of their own. Now, as somebody that grew up in a difficult situation, is it easy for me to point fingers at somebody that had it better than I did and say, oh, well, your parents had money, that's why it was so easy for you? Yes. And am I guilty of that? You're damn right. But at no point am I going to sit here and eyeball any of the 20 interns that we have and say, no, y'all all got daddy's money and y'all are all good. Y'all really don't have anything to worry about. You know, you're going to have such an easier time than I did. You don't know the struggle. Man, you don't even know the struggle. I hate that crap. Because, yeah, I had it hard. And, yeah, I'll be open and talk about it. But it's not to prove some sort of point about how hard of a worker I am or how much I had to grind to get what I want. No, because that's just the hand I was dealt, and I dealt with it. And I played with it, and somehow I played a hand that I can at least be happy with. But we're not going to sit here and we're not going to degrade either side of this. Because if you can find a paid internship, that's great. And I told Joe Will, and I told Bryant, and I said it during Tide Tonight, that if every intern we had could get paid, I'd be all for it. I'd love it. But the reality of the situation is that I don't get paid a whole lot myself. So I don't know how the hell we could pay them. Because that's the reality of the economic situation, right? There's nothing you can do about that. Life isn't fair. Newsflash. To every person on either side of the aisle on the issue. Because it seemed to have had an aisle. And one that didn't fully make sense. Everybody deserves to be paid for the work that they do. And being paid in experience is a load of crap. But at the same time, it can be what springboards you into something. Because had I not been an unpaid intern, I would not have been a paid employee of Tide 100.9 for a year and a half after the pandemic. And I also would not be where I'm at right now, which is discussing this stupid topic that has no reason to be so divisive. Because everybody goes through different crap. James, you have the mic.
Yeah, I want to send this out to those who I'm arguing with now on Twitter, because of course I had to jump in and give my 2 cents. I'm 32 years old. Most people don't know that. I'm the oldest one here. I'm the old guy. I'm the veteran in this room.
You're older than our boss.
I'm older than my boss. I'm older than my program director, folks. And I took this job for free. I begged, I pleaded with Joe Gaither. I showed up. Joe will tell you that, Jacob, I showed up to Town Square without an appointment and said I would work for free. You know why? Because I love this. I love this. And I will tell you, there are not a lot of people in this business who have made the run. And I'm not saying this because I'm not humble or because I have busted my ass and earned what I have. Not a lot of people, unless your name is Kurt freaking Angle, have done in a short time what I have done here. And that's because I was unpaid. I'm an unpaid intern when I started at 32 as a father of two after losing my son in June. I still did unpaid work. And for people to go on Twitter and to say what I say doesn't go into any type of variable because it's about women getting paid, guess what? Women and men do unpaid internships. Should you pay everybody? Yes, absolutely. But does that mean that if you go into an internship and know that it's unpaid, that you should work less because you're not getting paid? No. You know who paid to go to the SEC championship? Me. You know who paid to go to the Rose Bowl? Me. You know who paid to go to the Natty? Me. Out of my own pocket. Because I wanted to prove to people in this building and to people in here that I care more about the brand than I do myself. And now I started a full-time position today because I busted my ass and did what I had to do unpaid to push myself to get paid. Now, if you can get a paid internship, go and do it. But don't knock people who have hard work and ethic that want to do this for a living and do it. I am living my dream getting to do this every week, especially on Tuesday and Thursday. I love it. And I do it because I love it, not because of the money. Because I'm telling you, Jacob, you'll agree, if it was for the money, we wouldn't be here. Because I love Town Square Media, but we don't get paid nearly enough to deal with y'all people.
And that's the most bizarre aspect of this whole argument on Twitter was that it was sports journalists attacking other sports journalists for the way that they got into this business. Despite there being so many different obstacles between thousands and thousands of people on how they did it. Because player X over here that got to go through a paid internship and got a quick ride to the top is no better than the guy that had an unpaid internship and worked hard or didn't and still got his way to the top because they both got to where they wanted to be. And that's all that matters. Let's bring Katie, the intern, one of our many interns here at Tide 100.9. Katie, what are your thoughts on this crazy, stupid conversation?
I've just been listening to what y'all have to say, and like in my opinion and in my experience, I had a job. I worked 5 years and I got paid and I got brought up into the business and I earned what I had, but I was getting paid. And for me, coming into to Town Square, this was an opportunity that I got, and I actually discovered that I love the sports industry and the radio industry. And all my friends looked at me and said, "It's unpaid, why are you doing it?" And my answer is because I love it. And I think that it's really important that whether you get paid or not, if you're doing something you love, I think that's important. And you said, getting experience is a load of crap for a lot of people. But for me, my whole mindset is if you get the experience and you work hard, at the end of the day, yes, maybe you end up in the same spot as someone who got paid in the professional world to get there. But I think it's about the effort that you put in once you get to the top, once you're there. Well, you can say, I started unpaid, but here I am, and what am I doing afterwards?
Here's the other part of it, too, though, is that everybody that gets into this business knows that A, it's a grind, and B, you don't get paid that much. It's almost a meme at this point, but it's the reality of it. And we're also generalizing what internships are. A lot of people want to joke, well, in certain internships and certain styles of this business, it's a lot of running around and getting coffee for people. And it's not a lot of work. It's not a lot of doing anything. And while that's not what we do here, here at Tide, like, we put our interns to work, and it's a little messed up that they don't get paid because sometimes, like, we have interns running the show while the guy that's getting paid is writing stories or something, or just listening to the show and interacting with the host or whatever. Like, things evolve in that way, but that's how the intern gets better and is able to move on and go do his own thing too. So, but no internship is equal, paid or unpaid. How many paid internships are there out there where you are legitimately just running coffee and instead of actually learning what to do?
And let me ask you this. You want to be in Pittsburgh, right? Michael wants to be in Boston. I would love to be in Tampa. I'm sure Katie would love to be with those crappy Capitals. I understand, okay? But here's the thing. If somebody's looking at our resume, what are they going to look at? Well, he did a paid internship. No, they're going to look and say, this dude worked for free for 7 months or a year or however long it's been. He did it for free. So what are we going to do when we actually pay him? We're going to get even more because he did it for free.
Well, you would hope. There'd be some that would say, well, we don't have to pay him as much.
Well, that's true.
to be a devil's advocate.
See the effort. You
yeah.
see what goes into it. And trust me, and this is what I tell all of our interns, and Jacob, I think you'd echo this. Even if it's for free, do the best you can. Because here's the thing, you never know who's watching. You never know who's going to call on you to do something. You never know who's going to call on you to do something that you never thought you'd be able to do. And I feel like that's where we are. And we have a team that does that. Free or not, everybody works hard for the brand. And that's what it is. Not to steal Pat McAfee, but it is for the brand.
It's because we all care. It's because it's what we want to do. And it makes sense. Katie, you got any other thoughts?
I mean, I would agree with James on that. I think that I would hope that everyone sees, hey, you put in this work for free, and I hope that when you get to the position that you're at in our company and you're getting paid, you're going to do the work and you're going to put in the work. But not everybody thinks the same as well. But I think that there's two sides to this, and wherever you stand, I think you have a right to stand on whatever side you have. But for me, it's put in the work, show that you're getting unpaid, and show that you want to be here.
I agree with that. There are two sides to the argument, and that's understandable. Every argument has to have two sides. The thing that I've been most displeased with is the bashing of other people for doing what they're doing. Yeah. Is because you're not more intelligent than I am because I took an unpaid internship. Nor are you a silver spoon, you've had everything handed to you kind of person for being in a position to take a paid internship. Nor are you a silver spoon, had everything handed to you kind of person because you were able to afford the situations that come with being an unpaid intern. Because a lot of our interns here at Tide have jobs of their own. And, that's why we have to work out the schedule and why the schedule shifts so much on Tide Tonight and who can be on what shows and that sort of thing. Like, it all rolls in because we're all different people. We all have different things going on in our lives and different things that we have to handle as human beings. And that's what it comes down to, is everybody is dealt a different situation. I mentioned at the top of the show about surviving the whole year of COVID. I didn't lose anybody close to me through COVID. I guess I was one of the lucky ones in that situation. But I had four in-laws that all caught COVID, and all of them were completely fine. They were sick for a little while, pretty fatigued, but they were all completely fine. But that doesn't mean that I, in any way, should even consider comparing my situation throughout the entire year and pointing out all the positives and everything that I was able to do and grow and the things that I had to deal with, and look at somebody who had to experience serious loss over the past year and compare the situations. Because everybody has something different going on. And that's the entire thing that I'm trying to convey, and I'm getting frustrated and lost in my words, but it's literally just that. There are 6 billion people on this earth, and every single one of them is going to go through something different. And to bash anybody for the type of internship that they took, for heaven's sake, it's not even close to that serious. All right, Katie. I appreciate you calling in, and we'll see you later. All right.
See ya. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Michael. If you want to, man, I'd love to get your thoughts because you are the legitimate intern here on Off the Edge. I mean, you're the sales guy that's being a great friend. I feel like that's not the remark I deserved on that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys made some awesome points, and I've only been here for about a month and a half, almost going on 2 months now. But and obviously I have a lot different of a perspective than maybe you and James has. As a 20-year-old student in college, just trying to gain some experience. Obviously, I don't have children to worry about anything like that right now, so it's a little bit easier for me to take an unpaid position than it would be for you two. But yeah, I mean, experience is kind of I know you said getting paid in experience is crap, but at the same time, experience in this business is kind of what you need for anyone to even consider giving a look at you. So at the same time,
you're useless in this business without experience. If you go get a degree from Alabama and you don't put in even the slightest bit of effort at some newspaper, at some TV station, at some radio station, all you did was pay for a piece of paper.
Yeah, you'll never get hired anywhere.
Anywhere.
At least anywhere in that field. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I've only been here for about a month or two, but I feel like the experience I'm gaining here is, it'd be nice to be paid. I'd love to be paid, but the experience I'm gaining is really more valuable than whatever hourly rate that Tide would be able to pay interns in a perfect world where interns got paid at Tide 109. Obviously, it's not a perfect world, but yeah, I mean, I just feel like the experience I'm gaining here and kind of the whole family atmosphere has more made it worth it than anything.
And I'm glad you said that. But to close on this, if it were a perfect world and every intern got paid, there wouldn't be very many internships to go around, which means we would not have a sports media, basically. It would all be national media, but I don't know how the hell any of them would be good enough to go be national media. Not that that's the pinnacle of this business. I contend that local coverage will always trump national coverage in every facet. But you want to gut check that, you go make it where every single internship has to be paid. Because, bro, at Tide, we wouldn't have interns. Would not. Your other news outlets here that are covering your Crimson Tide would not have them either. It's the reality of the situation. And I don't care which political ideology you go on with that, which side of the aisle you appreciate more, who's in control, who's got the power, who's ponying up the dough. That's the reality of the situation. It's impossible. It's impossible. There's no such thing as utopia for a friggin' reason. And internships are at the bottom of the friggin' list when it comes to creating one of those, by the way. It's impossible. Everybody has worth, and everybody should value themselves. But if you value your time to be humbled in an experience that isn't always the most immediately rewardable, then you'll find something good on the other end of that. But if you're in a position where you're choosing between a paid internship and an unpaid internship, I encourage you to strongly consider taking the paid internship. But make sure that what you're getting paid to do isn't just coffee errands when you could be actually pushing buttons or speaking into a microphone or going and getting sound for your editor or going and talking to players and coaches. Or whatever your internship is. I don't know what other internships are out there because I haven't done another profession other than paint, and we don't do those either. Good Lord. Let's talk about Landon Dickerson on the other side of this. I encourage you again, this is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9. Go check us out on Facebook, Instagram. We ain't got no Instagram, I don't do that. Go check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Join the live streams when you see them and join us in the chat. If you've got an opinion on this intern thing, though, I'll be happy to discuss it with you. If you strongly disagree with any three of us, I'll strongly argue with you and have some fun that way, too. No hurt feelings. I just love to argue, and I think that'd be an interesting conversation. I'd love to hear somebody with an opposite take, converse with that. I mean, we can be adults that disagree and have a conversation about it. I'd be super up for that. But either way, 205-342-9904 is the number to call in that regard. We'll be right back. Let's talk Landon Dickerson on the other side. This is Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Come pick out your Townsend Honda certified vehicle at Townsend Honda. We have Hondas and we have Chevys, Fords, Nissans, and more. Welcome to Townsend Honda, located on Skyline Boulevard, Tuscaloosa.
This is Norman Crow. It's critical that District 3 has strong leadership on the Tuscaloosa City Council to support public safety, to invest in our schools, to build our local economy. After serving on the Tuscaloosa City School Board for 4 years, I'm excited for the chance to do even more for our city. On March the 2nd, I need your vote for City Council. Vote Norman Crow, District 3.
Paid for by Friends of Norman Crow, 1655 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 134, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35406.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it could be to find new customers. Now, Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Town Square and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Spring is almost here, and it's time to get your yard ready with the help of Port One Landscape Supply. For your flower beds and yard, they have pine bark mulch, pine and wheat straw, bag mulch, and topsoil. Port One Landscape Supply also has driveway materials, decorative rock, flagstone, limestone, and masonry sand. Bring your truck or trailer, and they'll load it for you or have it delivered. Port One Landscape Supply. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 till 5. Locally owned by John Powell at the corner of Paul Howell Road and Highway 43 in Northport. Port One Landscape Supply.
This is Bill Wright. I am running for Tuscaloosa City Council District 3. If you're like me, you are tired of politicians making promises and once elected, they vote to protect their own political interest. I'm a husband, father, and business owner, a Tuscaloosa native. I am running solely to help the people of District 3 and because I love Tuscaloosa. On Tuesday, March 2nd, I humbly ask for your vote. Bill Wright, Tuscaloosa City Council, District 3. I am Bill Wright and I approve of this message.
Paid political advertisement for the committee to elect Bill Wright, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Come pick out your Townsend Honda certified vehicle at Townsend Honda. We have Hondas and we have Chevys, Fords, Nissans, and more. Welcome to Townsend Honda, located on Skyline Boulevard, Tuscaloosa.
This is Norman Crow. It's critical that District 3 has strong leadership on the Tuscaloosa City Council to support public safety, to invest in our schools, to build our local economy. After serving on the Tuscaloosa City School Board for 4 years, I'm excited for the chance to do even more for our city. On March the 2nd, I need your vote for City Council. Vote Norman Crow, District 3.
Paid for by Friends of Norman Crow, 1655 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 134, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35406.
Spring is almost here, and it's time to get your yard ready with the help of Port One Landscape Supply. For your flower beds and yard, they have pine bark mulch, pine and wheat straw, bag mulch, and topsoil. Port One Landscape Supply also has driveway materials, decorative rock, flagstone, limestone, and masonry sand. Bring your truck or trailer, and they'll load it for you or have it delivered. Port One Landscape Supply. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 till 5. Locally owned by John Powell at the corner of Paul Howell Road and Highway 43 in Northport. Port One Landscape Supply.
This is Bill Wright. I am running for Tuscaloosa City Council District 3. If you're like me, you are tired of politicians making promises and once elected, they vote to protect their own political interest. I'm a husband, father, and business owner, a Tuscaloosa native. I am running solely to help the people of District 3 and because I love Tuscaloosa. On Tuesday, March 2nd, I humbly ask for your vote. Bill Wright, Tuscaloosa City Council, District 3. I am Bill Wright and I approve of this message.
Paid political advertisement for the committee to elect Bill Wright, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
We aren't going anywhere. Off the Edge is available in the podcast center on Tide100.9.com.
All right, you were right, okay? Shut up. Jeez. Don't, how dare you make me bleed my own blood.
See, I want to know how in the world this music made it into the rock thing. Like, this isn't rock. What is this?
It says mood is happy.
Okay.
It honestly sounds like you're on hold on the Cracker Barrel hotline.
Exactly. Not crazy. Not crazy about it. So Landon Dickerson is getting a lot of love as a first-round prospect. I've seen him go in multiple first-round mock drafts here lately, whether it's Mel Kiper's, I want to say it was in Matt Miller's as well, Daniel Jeremiah's. He's really getting a lot of love here lately, and I'm excited about that because not only does it mean that potentially my Pittsburgh Steelers could select him with the 24th overall pick, but it means we're looking at a guy that at the very least is starting to feel worthy of the position he is rightfully earned. Because no doubt, if he doesn't get hurt in the SEC championship, then he's without a doubt a first-round pick, right? Probably a mid-round pick. Everybody feels comfortable about him. He's in every single mock draft as a first overall pick. And we're talking about the Alabama Crimson Tide potentially breaking the record for most players selected in a single first round. But nonetheless, it's nice to see a guy get what he's owed. And it's nice to get the feeling that because of all this love that he's getting, that he is in a position to be drafted in the first round. I think he deserves that. And I hope he goes to my Steelers. Steelers center retired this year, so of course that would be a great fit for him. I think his personality fits the Steelers. I think he would be a guy that could play there for a long time. Hopefully his health continues to be on the positive side. You know, he had all those injuries at Florida State, and he played nearly every single game at Alabama, and it's a shame that in the SEC championship is when he gets hurt. And despite him being one of those guys that's kind of like the lifeblood of the team, he's the one that gets hurt very late in the SEC championship and has to miss the playoffs. It was good to see him get in on those last few plays, but regardless, I think when you talk about Landon Dickerson as a professional, he's got everything you need. He's a massive guy. He's 6'5", 320, maybe 310, which is absolutely a behemoth for a center, by the way. I mean, most of those guys are hovering around 6'3", 280, 290. Very rarely you're going to find one that's 300 pounds. But not only that, he moves well. I think he's scheme versatile. I think he's got the quick enough feet to be a zone guy. But definitely, he is a country strong boy. He can absolutely play in those power schemes. But maybe if you're running an old school scheme where you need a guy that can pull from the center position, and I think he's versatile enough that if you don't need a center but you instead need a guard, you'd feel comfortable about putting him there as well. So I'm confident that we're going to see a good version of Landon Dickerson, and I hope he goes in the first round. What's on your mind, Michael?
No, didn't he start at Florida State as a guard, if I'm not mistaken? He only moved to center once he came to Alabama, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say he played tackle and guard at Florida State.
He was definitely not like a center.
No, he was not a pure center. Like I said, he's 6'5", 320. That's a guy that he might be a little small for a tackle, which is always so bizarre to say of a guy that's that massive. Might be a little small for an NFL tackle, I guess, would be the words. But I think he's scheme versatile. That if you need a guy that can swing all across the line under any sort of circumstance, he's a guy that can play there.
Now, does it worry you at all, as a Steelers fan and someone who wants them to take him at 24, does that injury history not deeply concern you there? Because it's not like that this thing at Alabama was his first, that he ended up transferring from Florida State because mainly he couldn't stay healthy.
Well, not only because he couldn't stay healthy, but also because it was some of the worst offensive line play we've ever seen.
Nothing worked out for him.
Yeah,
obviously. The injuries have been a problem in the past.
Right. I'm a little blind to it, not gonna lie, because of the crimson shades that are permanently draped over my eyes. But no, and it's for the same reasons that Tua Tagovailoa's injuries didn't bother me. Nobody talks about the fact that he was relatively injury-free his rookie season. He did get nicked up. He did have the hand injury, which I still contend was baloney. I don't think that was a legitimate thing. What are you up to?
I have a deep question that I want to ask you.
Oh, Lord.
Out of all of the Alabama players that go this year, who has the best career in the NFL?
Oh.
Is it Landon? Is it Najee? Because by the rules, it's probably not going to be Mac Jones.
Right.
Unless he just...
the odds aren't in his favor. Look at all the disasters at quarterback.
So, do you give a guy like Landon the nod because of him being... I mean, I know the injury history's there. I think Intern did a good job of mentioning that. But...
Absolutely.
Out of all the guys, who do you look at and go, I think this is a guy that could do it?
I think I've been asked the question before. I think Travis Reier asked me the question before on Southern Fried Sports, which you should totally check that show out, by the way. If you're just kind of riding around and you just so happen to switch to Tide 109, check this show out. If you're on your lunch hour, 11 to 12, go check out Southern Fried Sports. Just an incredible show. Travis Reier is such a fun guy. He runs an incredible show. And he's got a pretty good producer, too. But...
Who is that, Jacob?
His name starts with Ja and ends with But it's...
I like where this is going.
I do. I think that's a cool guy. Regardless... I think he's asked me the question before, and I emphatically, without hesitation, said Landon Dickerson because the odds are in his favor to be great. It's the bar to be a great center is, first of all, a little bit lower, but second of all, all he has to do is stay healthy and go to the right team, and those are two pretty likely things to happen when you're a late first-round pick, and there are plenty of teams that need a center or a guard picking in those spots in a weaker offensive line class as a whole. But I felt kind of the pull to Najee Harris, and that's because the bar to be a great running back is even lower. Najee needs no team success to be regarded a great running back. Absolutely zero. Najee could run for 1,400 yards for 7 straight seasons, retire, and be considered a great running back. In today's NFL. He's not an all-time great at that, but if Landon Dickerson's injuries come to roost and he plays 4 years in the NFL, or he's an inconsistent starter, and the odds are against Mac Jones, the odds are also against the wide receivers. It's always difficult for wide receivers to pan out. That's why there's more elites now than there usually are. But even still, there are questions about nearly every single one of them. There's debate for every single one of them. And then there is just a massive chasm between them and the very good guys in the NFL at that position.
I'd love to see Devontae do it. I mean, I know he's kind of small right now, but, if he has and see, this is the thing you were going back to earlier when you're saying, comparing guys. People wanted to compare Devontae Smith to a guy like Marvin Harrison. If he lasts as long as Marvin Harrison did, that's a great career. I mean, that's 100% a great career.
I don't remember Marvin Harrison being that small.
He was coming out, but he bulked up.
He was a tough guy, though.
He was, and that's where I think Devontae needs to work. But Marvin coming out, from what I remember, and this was a while ago, obviously, but from what I remember, he was a smaller guy, and that's why I think a lot of the comparison has been between him and Marvin. So he was 179 pounds, 6 feet tall, coming out.
So that's practically Devontae Smith.
That's basically Devontae.
Now Marvin Harrison was, a Hines Ward type tough guy, and I don't mean just to compare him to a Steeler because that's the first guy. Everybody knows Hines Ward for being one of the toughest wide receivers in the NFL, and that was kind of the role that Marvin Harrison created for himself. But he was also such a versatile guy that he was able to get open relatively easily. And holds countless catch records. Dude caught so many passes. It was
he
ridiculous.
had the benefit of Peyton Manning too for a long time.
But he was a great wide receiver though.
No, he was, but he also, and that's going back to the other argument is you're as good as the players you're surrounded by.
Right.
And if Devontae goes to a good team, like they're saying he could go to Philadelphia, it would depend on what's going on because right now there's so much turmoil in Philadelphia. You have no idea what's going to happen.
And that's what frustrates the hell out of me. Peyton Manning could have been a bust. Nobody... would Peyton Manning allow it? Probably not. But like, we just take the circumstances for what they are when everything in life is circumstantial. What is Peyton Manning without Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James, a great offensive line, and Marvin Harrison? What is he without that? Just really, really good? Kirk Cousins? Who knows, right? You need the weapons around you. And Devontae Smith is going to need a great quarterback to get him the football. See, and that's why I lended more towards Najee Harris and Landon Dickerson. It's why the conversation of who would have the better career starts with those two, is because it's the bar for them is a lot lower. With Landon Dickerson, his success is not predicated by those around him. It's can he stay on the field, can he move bodies, and can he be respected among his peers. He doesn't have to be a top 100 player every single year. He doesn't have to have a Hall of Fame career. He's just got to be out there and consistent, right? If he makes a few highlight reels, that's great. And with Najee Harris, it's very feasible that Najee Harris could run for anywhere between 1,100 and 1,500 yards a year for 7 years and be done because of the way the NFL spits out running backs and never win a thing. And he could also do that behind average to below average offensive lines if a team is good enough to give him the ball 300 times a year.
Well, nobody saw Derrick Henry doing what he's doing now. I mean, when he came out, he was great, but then his first he didn't start off hot at all.
Well, he had DeMarco Murray in front of him.
Well, he did. And that, again,
to be
that's
fair,
the benefit of who you play with. But here's the thing. When he got his opportunity, he's just – I can't even describe what his play style is. So if Najee can come into a team, like there's some rumor that Atlanta could be a potential landing spot for Najee. If Najee can come into an Atlanta team that doesn't really have much of a run game except for Todd Gurley, which
probably
is
not
not
the
Todd Gurley of 4 years ago.
Probably not going to be back.
Exactly. So if Najee can come into a team like that, I mean, who knows? I don't think he's going to be as lights out as Derrick Henry. It's impossible for anybody to be that way, I think, except for Derrick Henry. But I'm just saying, some of these guys who come out, you look at them and go, man, I don't know how good they're going to be, and then they start to struggle. But then they get that one opportunity, and that's it, and they're golden from there.
And that's all anybody needs is one opportunity to create something for themselves, and it to be the right one. Now look, to compare it to a guy that we're all rooting for, I don't know a single soul, I don't know a single soul because I'd rather just not know those kind of people. But I don't know a single soul that's not rooting for Jalen Hurts to be successful. But the thing is that he's in a franchise that just self-destructed out of nowhere, right? It wasn't when he was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. It didn't seem like a great situation to have been just inherited into. The quarterback wasn't playing well, and by just simply selecting Jalen Hurts, a quarterback controversy was created. Oh, by the way, your offensive line and wide receivers cannot stay healthy, right? So you've created a situation that's going to be difficult for Jalen Hurts or any quarterback to succeed in. There are plenty of examples in the NFL where this is the case. Landon Dickerson could be a great NFL center, but if he goes to a team that's already stacked because they just wanted to load up or whatever, or they've got or say he got drafted by the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have good interior linemen, but they don't know when Duvernay Tardif is going to come back, so they take Landon Dickerson. Well, Tardif comes back, he wins the job. Now what's Landon Dickerson supposed to do? See, like, there's situations that create for themselves in the NFL, and all guys need is one opportunity to prove whether or not they can do it. But you don't know how those opportunities are going to come. And that's why expecting greatness out of guys before they're even on a football team is dangerous. Because you have no idea what they're going to be stepping into, what's going to be around them. And that's why it's a team sport. Like, we can talk about individuals all day long, and who's going to be better at this and who's going to be better at that, and is Mac Jones the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 20th best quarterback in the NFL draft. He can be the fourth best quarterback in the draft on draft night, but get drafted into the best situation and immediately be the best quarterback. Look at Justin Herbert. Why was Justin Herbert the third quarterback drafted if he's going to end up being the rookie of the year and being the best looking quarterback? Well, it's because he went to the team that had the best offense around him. Miami and Cincinnati didn't have great offenses. It's all a matter of circumstances. Everything is circumstances. Whether it's an internship, it's you getting drafted into the NFL, it's you being a quarterback, it's you dealing with a year of COVID. We got one final break to take. We're going to take it. We'll be right back. I encourage you, go check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and the brand new Twitch account. I apologize heavily for all the stream problems that we have encountered throughout the night tonight. Again, I guess I got to go back to the drawing board again and situate these things. Most of it was due to account lockouts because those social medias, they get fishy when they see suspicious activity, and my stream client apparently was the suspicious activity. Stuff happens. It's technology. We'll fix it and we'll get it all corrected. We'll be back to normal here on Off the Edge and getting all the streams corrected. I know that is a big bulk of our listeners and viewership as well. So if you've tuned into Tide 100.9 or the app to figure out what the hell is going on there, that's your update. We'll be back for the final segment. Wrap this thing up on Tide 100.9. My name is Jacob Harrison. This is Off the Edge, and we'll close this thing down next.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? It's hablo.
Bom dia, like good day, good morning, I think.
I can say je m'appelle David, but that's probably it.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
This year is my year to get fluent in Spanish, and Babbel is definitely going to help me do that. The app is so easy to use, and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
I've tried other language learning apps and nothing really stuck. Babbel's been a complete game changer for me.
Hoy es miércoles y el clima está muy bueno afuera.
Estoy con fome. Eu no tomé café de mañana.
Je suis des États-Unis et tu viens tu.
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Cloudy and colder, rain becoming widespread late tonight, the low at 40. Tomorrow, cold and wet. Rain much of the day, the high at 50. Wednesday becoming partly to mostly sunny, the high 60. And Thursday, a sunny day with a high at 68. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 48 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Hello there, welcome back into the final segment of Off the Edge. We've had a fun time here. I've been my usual angry self, I guess. Been a little bit argumentative. Wouldn't you say? Yeah, a little bit. But that's how I have fun. I unload all my stress into a microphone, right? But we've discussed a myriad of topics. And if you've missed any of the conversation, you could go check it out on Tide109.com. Hit that podcast center, go to Off the Edge, and enjoy all the content there as well. We did move over the weekend, but hopefully things are going to go back to normal a little bit here this week, and I will get back to uploading the content on the daily for the YouTube channel as well. So I encourage you, go to YouTube and find Off the Edge on YouTube and subscribe there. As the subscribers build, we'll be able to create more and more content and upgrade the show in many, many ways there as well. Also, check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Follow us and like us there. Brand new, and I ran into issues with the stream on Twitch too, so I apologize for that. I think just credentials in the logins just got weird. Stuff happens. But new to Off the Edge is the Twitch account. I had the Twitch account made but I didn't want to start using it until we started the game. Well, I decided maybe we can get the people that are most interested in that through Twitch and help broaden the horizon there as well. So if you are interested in the NCAA 14 Dynasty, we still want to get the 250 followers on Twitter. We still want to do that. That's still a goal. But if we get to 50 followers on Twitch, first, we will go ahead and start the stream of the NCAA 14 Dynasty. So if that is something that you are interested in, go to Twitch, search Off the Edge 109, and hit that follow button. Much quicker task to get that done. And with the NCAA 14 Dynasty, we're looking at updated uniforms, updated seasons, updated recruiting classes, and an updated roster. We will be able to play with the entire 2020 roster, including Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, Najee Harris, that incredible offensive line that won the Joe Moore Award, all the defenders, Patrick Surtain, Will Anderson, Dylan Moses, Christian Harris, the entire thing. And then as we move through, we've got the recruiting class in there as well. We can get the Brockermeyers and J.C. Latham and T.J. Ferguson to help rebuild the offensive line and keep pushing it forward. Kamara Wheaton, the whole deal, and get to see how Bryce Young is going to look in that crimson and white. Or maybe even Paul Tyson. We weren't able to get into the Paul Tyson conversation as much as I would have liked. We got pretty fired up about other subjects tonight. But here's the thing with Paul. With Paul Tyson, number 15 in the Alabama Crimson and White. He can get it done if he shows the mental capacity. This isn't me questioning his mental capacity or his ability to digest a playbook. I'm saying if that's the case. Because I feel like while there are things that Bryce Young definitely does better, I think Bryce Young is going to have the edge in accuracy, and he's definitely going to have the edge in athleticism, right? In escapability, in creating plays on the move. Well, what Bryce Young has already showed us that he is a little bit deficient at is the pocket awareness. Now, I'm sure that's something he's been working on. He did look improved in that regard in the Kentucky game. Didn't really get a chance to show it much after that. But if if Paul Tyson can show that he has pocket awareness and a little bit of escapability and can show off that arm strength, I think that would be his argument to leading the team. Listen, as I said with the Bryce Young argument, it had nothing to do with Bryce Young's 5-star rate. It had nothing to do with Bryce Young being the golden boy and all. That's not why I said I thought he would be the starting quarterback. I said that because we had already saw that Bryce Young won the backup job last year and was the only one that saw action. That's just playing the odds, right? That's gambling on a hot take. And for people to remember it, right? There's nothing to go beyond that. But when it comes to Paul Tyson, I would be more than okay with being wrong about this one, because I think he's a guy that could get it done. We've just got to be able to see it, and these are things that we can hope to see when it comes to spring training and the A-Day, which are quickly approaching. Listen, in 3 days, my beautiful wife is going to turn 28 years old. So I want to wish her a happy birthday because we will not be on the air until the day afterwards. So with that, happy birthday, Day. I love you. You're wonderful. I appreciate you so much. We're out of here. This has been Off the Edge on Tide 100.9. Go follow us and like us on all the accounts at Off the Edge. And join us again on Friday from 7 to 9 for more Crimson Tide Sports Talk. I'm Jacob Harrison. Until next time.